Well, hello there, and welcome to our I've Decided podcast. I'm Kim Martin, founder of I've Decided and host of your show today. So, my question for you is, what dream have you let die? What is it that you know you should be doing that has faded away off to the great blue sky because life happens? We get busy, we get crazy, and we just let those goals and dreams go. And those things that we know we need to do deep in our hearts, but other things take priority and we just simply let them die. Well, our weekly winning word this week at I've Decided is quicken. And quicken means to make alive or revive. So, our challenge to you and to all of our members of I've Decided has been to quicken your dreams, breathe some new life into them. And I am super excited to have our guest, Mr. David Bell.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
David. How are you?
I'm doing really good. Thank
I
you.
am so excited. David and I have been talking prior to recording this show. I'm learning all about his business that he's gone all in on. I know some about it because I'm good friends with your parents. And some of you know our awesome member, Ruth Bell. She's been a member of I've Decided probably for the whole 10 years that we've been in business. And she's been on our podcast several times throughout the years. And so you kind of grew up in this whole Shackley environment and dreams and goals and just seeing that in your household. So, but you have your own story to tell.
I do.
And I met with you last week at one of our community networking and learnings. And you were just telling me about making the decision to go all in. You've met this mentor, you're creating and growing your group. And I was so inspired, wanted to learn more about it. And I thought you'd be a perfect guest for our podcast today. And it'll be a great opportunity for you to share and have this conversation with me around this word quicken.
Yeah.
And you guys keep listening because throughout this show, David and I are going to talk about 5 steps that you can take to quicken your dream. So if you have a dream that's burning inside of you, but it's kind of lost its flame, we're going to help you rekindle it today. So you want to keep listening. But before we dive into that, tell us more about who you are and what you're doing with this business.
Okay.
And it's Lifeline to Health, which is a really cool name when you find out what it means. And so really, your parents have been in this business for 30 years or more now.
Yeah.
And you're taking it to a whole new level.
Right.
So tell us all about that.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, thank you. And you've been a huge lifeline to our family and my mom especially. And as we talk more and we hear about just the story of my life and my son, my mom shared that you've just always been there for her.
Yes.
But not just you, the whole I've Decided community.
Yes.
And so I'm just, that's huge for her. And that obviously is for our family. So thank you for that.
You are welcome. I love the Bell family.
Yes, awesome. Awesome. So I'm David Bell. I'm married. I live here in Peoria I live with my wife, Katie Bell, and we have 4 kids. And so all under 10. I've been a youth pastor here in town for, from 2010 or maybe 2011 to 2020.
Okay.
And during that time of the pandemic, lots of decisions, a lot of uncertainty, which our son Ezekiel.
Yes. Talk about life happens.
Yeah, life happens. So our son Ezekiel, he was born with some kidney issues, and so he had a kidney transplant. He got my wife's kidney, which and I'll get more to that. But it was the pandemic where Katie and I decided that we didn't know if we should send the kids to school or not.
Right.
We didn't know what to do.
Well, because Zeke was compromised.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was scary times.
Exactly.
They shut the world down.
A lot of unknowns. Yeah.
And Katie's a nurse.
So
she was in the trenches.
So she's there,
Oh my
12
gosh.
hours. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Lots to decide. And it just, through lots of prayer, God just made it clear that you need to step out, and at least for this year with your wife, homeschool the kids and just be home. And we did. It was really a great year. We loved it, actually. We were like, we should keep doing it. Just the family, the bonding.
Yeah.
But after 2020, we put them back in school,
Okay.
and from there I was like, I can't go back to full time.
Mm-hmm.
What I was doing, like, I can't miss out on what I have now been shown, and that was God directing my life, because, I full-time work can be a lot.
Yeah.
You can get into that autopilot where you wake up, you get dressed, you go to work, you dive into your daily tasks and activities.
Life happens. We keep saying that, right? So
Right,
it
exactly.
it gets busy and things become priorities.
Right.
Kids,
Exactly.
family, and things that go with the kids. All good stuff, not necessarily, well, there's good and bad and all
Yeah.
mixed in, right?
Yeah.
But we said we love our kids, but we love our families, but it gets busy, and then our dreams and the things that we should be doing kind of take backseat. But I love how this whole story unravels, because it kind of, God just put you right where he wanted you to be.
Yeah.
So your eyes could be opened.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I thought about is, I know your mom loves this business, and I can only imagine that she's tried to convince probably all of her sons to get into this business. And you said there was a time where you really said, no, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then your eyes were
Open.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's important. Don't you guys think? Because we can have our hearts can be a little hardened to opportunities sometimes, because we think we can't do it. We see maybe someone who's a superstar doing it, and we're like, oh, I can't do it like that. Or we think, oh, I'm not a salesperson. I'm not that type of person. I just can't do it. So many reasons.
Right.
Talk to that a little bit.
Yeah. So I had decided that I'm not going to do Shackley. I'm not going to go into this industry, network marketing. I've been approached by people before about it. I've had my own, understanding, my own perception of it. I know this industry's been tarnished in ways. Don't need to go into all that, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I grew up in it. I mean, my mom's been very successful in the Shackley business.
Right.
I think I shared the other week. It's like, her and my dad stepped out of full-time work when I was maybe 3, and they've been home my whole life.
Isn't that amazing? Can you imagine having both of your parents, for the most part, at home your whole life? That's kind of good and bad at the same time, right?
Yeah.
No, but that's ultimately a good thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So I grew up, I was part of that, but I didn't want to be part of it. And like you said, she's always offered that to us. And there was a time where I wanted to try it. And so in college, I tried it a little bit, and it just, my understanding of how to do it was not right. And I couldn't do it.
Right. Wasn't the right timing.
Wasn't the right timing.
And that happens to our dreams too. Right. And that's reasons why they can die off, because we got the idea, we have the thought that maybe I can do it, but the timing's wrong.
Right. Yeah. And the training, the right mindset of what it was, like all that come into play. So it wasn't until I stepped down and I was with the kids and I didn't want to go back that I realized, there is an opportunity here. So let me look into it. And so another thing about me, if I'm going to jump into something, if I'm going to make that decision, it's going to be a firm decision. And I'm going to make
no lukewarm happening with you, right? You know what it says in Revelations.
Okay, yeah.
No lukewarm mindset there. You're all in. That's
right.
Good.
So with that, it was like, I need to learn. I need to look at those that are successful. I need to hear about how they're doing it. I need to hear from stories of those who aren't successful. I need to know, like, what am I getting into? How do you do this? And so through that, I was introduced to a guy in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. His name's Dr. Queso. It's actually my parents that have introduced me to him, and I got connected with him through Facebook, and we connected. And from there, he agreed to, I'll mentor you.
To mentor you.
Yeah.
How awesome.
Yeah.
He's paying it forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And we agreed, as he should, because he's killing it.
Yeah, he is. He's got the largest organization in Shackley, and he's in 2 different countries.
Yeah.
With Shackley. So yeah.
So a little shout out to Dr. Queso out there.
Dr. Queso. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's KSOW, just so you know.
Yeah, queso.
So, but yeah, exactly, paying it forward. And so, he's been working with me, helping me be able to create what he's created. And the big thing is, it's nothing new from things we've learned, but it's the mindset, it's
Right.
the approach, it's the conduct, it's the professional behavior, and how you make friends and how you actually conduct a business. So,
and treating it like a business,
right?
Because that's important. Mm-hmm. I think that's where, and this might just be a little sidebar. I digress a little, but I think that could be where some of that tarnishing you're talking about. It's like people making you think it's a quick buck. Like, oh, you can make all this money overnight.
Right.
When technically that's just impossible.
Correct.
I mean, are there exceptions to the rule? Sure, you can find exceptions to the rule.
Yeah.
But in general, success is hard.
Right.
Success is very hard. Yeah. It takes work, day in, day out, perseverance, right?
Yeah.
Coaching,
exactly.
Mentoring, investing,
community.
I mean, and so if you see it for what it really is, then you can understand those steps. Yeah. That's one of the things I love about your Lifeline to Health that you're doing with your little community, which won't be little for long, your big, giant global community. We're going global together, right? Global is the new word now. So anyway, that just was something I was, I was thinking about. So
yeah, that's so true. Without that training, you can jump into this and just be crazy.
Yeah, that's true. So speaking of training, well, we can kind of start, because I think the first step in quickening your dreams, right? So if you hopefully are still listening and kind of starting to feel that fire kindling up internally going, I kind of, I thought about my dream the other day, or I've been thinking I should get started, and hopefully this will motivate you. That first step is to give yourself constant reminders of what your dreams are. And you were talking about in your Lifeline to Health community, that's one, in there, I talk about putting sticky notes, have sticky notes everywhere. If you have to have a reminder in the console of your car, write it on your bathroom mirror. But the greatest way I know of is to have a vision board, putting a vision board in your view where you see it every day, and you can actually see, on my vision board, I have a purple jet flying in the sky. I have a beach house. Those are some monetary things that, the purple jet's a running joke. You guys know this, right? But the beach house, that's like for real. Who knows? Maybe I'll have a purple jet. The sky's the limit, right? The purple jet represents an unlimited life.
Wow. Okay.
The purple jet is a representation that God is unlimited. There is no limit to what he can do. I love what your mom says. I've stole her line. I try to give her credit when I remember. I don't know if I'll ever have a purple jet, but God knows. But in my heart, that purple jet represents the unlimitedness of what God can do if we stay focused on him and we are guided in love in the things that we do. And you were just talking about that last week in our CNL, right?
Yeah.
And I shared the struggle that I have of really making sure that I stay in that love zone, that everything that I do is through that love. And it's hard. It's so hard. But anyway, back to the vision board. You do that in your community.
Yeah. So one of the first things when somebody joins is we have a planning session. And I want to know where do you want to go? And you also have to know where you want to go. And part of that is a dream board. And this is what was done for me.
Oh, you call it a dream board?
We do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
okay.
Dream board. So,
well, Jeannie Quick, who's one of our members, she founded Dream Outside the Lines is the title. And she creates vision boards and does vision board workshops. So I love that. Dream board.
And that's just it. You know, some people come in and they have dreams once before that have just faded away. So we say, let's develop a dream board or rekindle past dreams, quicken past dreams, that you've had, and so that we can talk about those. And so that's, that a dream board is so important,
right,
to have up so you see it every day, because it's easy to get into the life and forget.
And the things we do isn't for money, but there are things that we desire that takes money.
Yeah.
Like a beach house.
Right. Yeah.
I want that.
Everything.
And I have to remind people all the time, it's okay to want to be successful. And it's okay to say, I need to have the money to pay for these desires that I have. It's how you, it's as long as the beach house doesn't become more important.
Right.
Yeah. It's like we keep things into perspective. Yeah. So it's okay to put a beach house on your vision board too.
That's right.
It can be very serious stuff, or it can be fun, lavish things. What's going to motivate you to stay on track?
Yeah. I mean, it can be tangible, but we also have intangible things that we want, we're the person we want to become, what we want to do for
that's
other
good too.
people as well.
You might have a stage if you want to be a speaker.
That's right.
Or maybe you have a microphone if you want to have a podcast.
Or if you want to start a nonprofit, or you want to help children.
Have a resource center, which we'd love to have one day. I do have a resource, like a building on my vision board. And the building is some building out of a magazine. It's not what my resource center will look like one day, but it's just a representation. So you got to give yourself constant reminders. That's the first thing. And I love that you do that in your community. And that's what your Lifeline to Health is all about. It's about building this networking community and teaching people how to grow their networking business the right way.
Yep.
Without being icky salesy, right?
Yep.
Not taking no for an answer,
right?
And thinking you're going to get rich overnight,
right?
Not thinking you're going to have to do all the work, doing it with integrity,
right? Yep. Basically, the true spirit of network marketing, which to me is based on the golden rule. You know, do unto others to have them do unto you. So. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, then you got to schedule time to work on your dreams.
Yeah.
How do you do that with 4 kids under 10?
Yeah. So
help us out with that one.
I had to hit a point where I had to really put Lifeline to Health as a priority. I had to make it a priority. My top 3 priorities, that's family, that's my faith, and that is our business.
Right.
It's got to be one of those 3. And so Katie and we rearranged our schedule. So she went on the weekend program for her work, so that during the week she could be home, and I could work on the business, and then the weekend I'm dad the whole time.
Right. And your I love that you use the word priority, because balance drives me insane. Because, I spent so much of my life stressed out trying to balance everything. And what I learned, David, is there's no such thing as balance. If we try to balance, we're just going to feel more stress. But if we learn to prioritize and manage our time, when it's family time, like you just said, with your kids on the weekend, you're all in.
Yeah.
You're not having to think about your business because business happens during the week.
Right.
But there's that priority switch.
Yeah.
And it's okay to maybe say no to your kids sometime during the week, because the business is priority right then and there. Yeah. And they know they got dad on the weekend. Yeah. So,
and I'll say it's still a growing process, because there's times on the weekend I'm like, I still got to do some stuff. But
there's exceptions,
exactly,
right? But they could be taking a nap or outside playing if it's beautiful outside.
That's
and your kids are getting a little older.
Yeah.
And they can manage some things on their own. But the point is, you prioritized your time, but you schedule it. And I love that you and Katie work together around her schedule and your schedule, because it takes intention and determination, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So schedule time to work on your dream, right? So we need to give ourselves constant reminders. We need to schedule time. The third thing I wanted to talk about with you, David, was focus on the work, not the result.
Right.
Which you're more about this. I mean, like more about what you're doing with Lifeline to Health. I mean, that's what you've created, this plan, this strategy.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we have a phrase we say all the time, it's focus on the effort, not the result.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. If we're just focusing on the result, then we're just gonna, we're gonna get blown away. But
it's like being I like to either like running on a treadmill, so you're running and getting nowhere, or more of a hamster wheel, just spinning in circles, because you're sitting there constantly trying to get somewhere, but you're focusing on how fast you're going, or focusing on what you need to do or what you want instead of what you need to do to get what you want.
Right. Yeah. And this is why the dream board is so important, because when we know what those goals are, and we have the pushing factor, what's pushing you, but what's going to be pulling you, once you hit that first goal, sometimes we're like, oh, we've arrived, but what's going to pull you to go all the way, whether that's, contributing to lives. But yeah, we have the dream board because it's easy to talk to somebody who's not interested,
Right.
and then just be like, oh, but we have to focus on our vision. Like that's what's going to keep us going for the long run. So that's why I love that you brought up the vision board.
Yeah.
Vision
And
board,
that was the
dream
first
board.
thing, right?
Yeah.
You were like, we were like, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, don't worry, Dave. We got lots to talk about. See, we do,
Yeah,
right?
I think we could talk for hours, I think.
Probably so. But I just, again, your idea is that you're teaching, you're coaching the people on your team who desire to build a team how to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And that's your goal, right? And
Right.
and I love, and that's the one thing that I love about the network marketing business is that the sky is the limit, and they, the if you find a good company and have good products, the sell is kind of just saying, look into it, try it, and see what you think. That's what it is. It's like, what are your goals though? If you want to make some extra money, you can do it. If you just want to take good supplements, you can do that. Or not in the Shackley world, not just supplements, but also cleaning, healthy cleaning products and body things and all kinds of stuff.
Everything you need to live a cleaner, healthier life.
That's his sales tip. No, that was great. That was perfect timing. But, we did talk about this because you said you wanted to do this with integrity because you didn't really like the salesy part. You don't see yourself as that salesy guy, but I did. And I'm reminding you guys of this too. We really all are selling something. We're selling ourselves every day. And there's a way to do it. And I love that you put the word integrity with sales because you can, I joke and say people see me and run because they think I'm either join the I've Decided community or come work out at Curves. And that's probably true because I know that both will help them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a female over 50, then you're probably right. I think you should be working out at Curves because I believe it's the best thing that women over 50 can do. And if I believe that, how can I not share that?
Exactly. Yep.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you have a goal or dream that you want to accomplish and it's not happening, then I've Decided is your community. We can help you. And if I believe that, then how can I not share that?
Right. Exactly.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
If you believe and you already know it, I mean, I said there's proof in your pudding because you grew up, your parents were successful. Your grandma was successful in this business.
Yes, exactly.
Your feisty grandma, who, by the way, is like 97.
Exactly. Yep. It's a family business.
She actually started this, and then your mom kind of got into it, and then you did.
Exactly.
But I think that, it does have to be your decision. And you made that decision for yourself just based on where your family was. But you saw that financial value. And you already saw that your parents were able to stay home, which that's what you wanted to do with your kids. So it's like, duh, just do what they did. Why is it so hard?
I don't know.
I'm sure if your mom's watching this, she's getting some chuckles.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Out of this conversation. All right. The fourth thing that you need to do to quicken or revive, that's what quicken means, right? To bring back to life, revive, to make alive, breathe some fresh air into, is make sure you have accountability. Now, I think your story about Dr. Queso is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we meet on Zoom, which is awesome that we can do that. He's in Malaysia. But still what he's been instilling in our team is that we're meeting weekly, every Monday, every Wednesday. And he's got the system and he's got the trainings that he's helping us. And so it's this constant reminder of really putting our vision out there. Because it's without those community, what you so beautifully create here
Thank you.
is that it's that connection with people. Like it's that
like-minded people.
Exactly.
That's the key. Like-minded people. Remember that term.
Surrounding yourself with others who want to grow, who want to be successful, who are also in the trenches, in the field with you.
Accountability is king, David. I mean, it really, really is in everything in life, isn't it? Having that accountability. I think that, that's a huge part of why a lot of our members that I've Decided see success, because there's so many people ask them, hey, how's it going?
Exactly.
We know what each other's goals and dreams are. So that accountability, it's like, if I show up, I know they're going to ask me how I'm doing in that goal, and it gives that accountability. And that's exactly what you're building within your community
Yeah.
so that they can show up and have that accountability. Yeah, I don't think you could build a team if you don't have those weekly meetings and you don't show up and contribute.
Yeah. If you're not showing up, if you're not plugged into
Yeah.
our activities, then it's going to be hard for you to learn the system. It's going to be hard. You're going to be on your own.
Yeah.
Which many people try it on their own. But as you know, we're always here. We're here. You can join.
I always say this. Well, there are exceptions to the rule. Less than 2% of the population have been proven to do things on their own with kind of solo motivation, solo from scraps to sky high success. But that's like 2 out of 100. 98, the other 98 of us need each other. So if you're in that 2%, then God love you. Go get it and make it happen. You better be killing it right now, right? But if you're like the rest of us, we need each other. We need that support. We need accountability. We need a community.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. You're doing it right. That's awesome. All right, so make sure you have accountability. And last but not least, review your results often. So you gotta see what's happening. You have to create what we use the SMART system, right? The SMART goal, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So is it SMART, measurable, attainable, relative, and timely? Okay.
Right.
So anything like that, but just having a way to measure your success.
For goals, yeah. So part of the goal when we set our short-term goal, because we have a long-term, like 10 years, 5 years, short, maybe medium, excuse me. But then the short term, that's like the first 100 days. We have a little sheet, we call it, the goal setting sheet. And we're able to draw things out. And so it's going through that every 100 days. It's like, okay, so what have you done? Where are you at? And now from where you've gone, how do we go further?
Right.
So that, as far as for me, that's the goal setting we do to see our success in that.
And then there's a visual with them, right? So that way they can see if they're reaching that goal.
Exactly.
Because I think a lot of times, and we talk about this a lot within I Decided in our weekly live coaching sessions, is we go by our feeling. We're like, well, I feel like I'm doing really good. It feels good, right?
Right.
And I think as human, that's human nature. But the reality is that emotion can really emotion is a good thing in a lot of ways, but it can also steer us not so good. It can keep us, it's not between the lines, so to speak, slack in the wheel or slack in the steering wheel, right? Because you're too loosey, laxy daisy, and you can be veering way away from your goal and not even realize it.
Right.
You need to know. You got to know where you are. I know when I did the financial, it reminds me of doing the financial, peace class.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they talked about you have to sit down and know exactly how much money you have, how much debt you have. That was painful.
Yeah.
Who wants to know that?
Exactly.
You just want to pretend, right? So to actually sit down and go, oh my Lord, it's that come to reality when you set those goals though. So anyway, awesome. All right. Real quick review just to make sure you guys have this. Give yourself constant reminders of what your dreams are. David and I agree vision board's the best way to do that. Schedule time to work on your dreams. Put it in your calendar. Like you gave the example of working during the week or your weekly hours, and your priorities on the weekend are your kids. Focus on the work, not the result, but you said focus on the effort. The effort, same thing, right? Same thing, just a different way of saying it.
Exactly.
So take the action, the result will follow.
Yep.
Okay. Make sure you have some accountability. Accountability is king. You need your Dr. Queso, whoever that is in your life. You need that person. And, you found the most successful person within your organization to be your mentor.
Exactly. Kudos
to you.
Thank you.
Because that's what you should do. Find someone who's doing what you want to do and doing it well and do what they did. Yeah. That's a pretty good, the problem to, or the solution to success. Right. And then review your results often.
Yeah.
Check and see how you're doing in comparison.
Exactly.
Make sure you are on track. All right. You know what I don't think we told them? What is the Lifeline to Health?
What is Lifeline
I
to
thought,
Health?
I forgot to ask that, and I wanted you to explain that because it's so cool. What does that mean?
Yeah. So Lifeline to Health is our business, and so a lifeline is something that offers care, offers support, and so usually a lifeline is something that you give somebody, or it's something you receive, basically to get out of a difficult situation. And so I believe that everybody has the ability to be a lifeline and contribute to someone's life in a positive way. And so we named our business Lifeline to Health because we relate to a lifeline, with our son Ezekiel and his story. And so this is where I could share about his story.
Oh, please do, because it's such a miracle. Everybody needs to hear this miracle story. And you need to follow David Bell on social media. I'm sure you can find him out there somewhere and check it out. But anyway.
So our son Ezekiel, so he was born with end stage renal disease. And so he, for the first 2.5 years of his life, he was on dialysis. And so that machine, which was keeping him alive every night from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that was his lifeline. And then my wife was able to give him a life-saving kidney. So that was a lifeline he got from his mom. That was a lifeline she was able to give him. And really it continues, like the doctors, the nurses.
God gave him a lifeline in vitro.
God gave him a lifeline. Yeah.
When that miracle happened.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't, the day that he was born, you guys were there? Or no, the day that you found out that there was a miracle that happened.
Right.
You were planning a funeral, really.
Yeah. So we went in after already knowing where he was at, after them already saying, you know what, your son is not going to be able to live. So carry him full term, and then, comfort care. So we were planning, we went in to plan his funeral, got one more sono, and the doctor came in and said, it's been a complete 180,
Wow.
And, whatever happened in there is not normally good, but the burst that happened saved his life. It was able to let the fluid get out and be his amniotic fluid. So now his lungs could breathe and grow, and the lungs are the last thing to develop.
And how old is he now?
He is 6.
6.
Yeah, 6. Yep.
Little miracle Zeke.
Great kidney. And he's got
to deal with some things.
Yeah.
But you know what? Every time I'll ask Ruth, I said to her one time, I said, so what do they believe is going to happen down the road? What's ahead for him? And she says, I don't know, but God knows.
Yeah.
So we just keep praying and believing and doing what you need to do now. And if you guys could see this kid, he's had his share of hospital visits, let me tell you. But when he's in there, he's always got some kind of toy and he's smiling.
Yeah.
He's smiling and it's just amazing.
Yeah. And, it really didn't come to me until we were talking today, but he was definitely a lifeline for me in the family. Cause it was a hard time, but he would always be happy no matter what, no matter where we were at the hospital, at home, he would smile, he'd be happy. He wasn't able to walk until age 3. Well, what did he do? He would scoot on the ground.
I remember Ruth would send me videos of him scooting.
And he's just got this huge
He would
smile.
He'd be scooting around.
Yeah.
And I got to tell this story because Ruth shared it with me. And it made me laugh because now obviously he's getting older, a little more clever, catching on to things. He's 6, right? You said 6.
Yeah.
And Ruth said, she was talking about praying and God and Jesus, and Zeke had been in his room playing with Superman, his little Superman toy, and he said to your mom, I guess, do they call her grandma?
Nana,
I was in my room and I prayed for Superman to fly, and Jesus, it didn't listen. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's funny.
And she's like, well,
that's funny.
So that's funny. But anyway, he's a great character, and it's awesome that that's such a miracle story, and that whole lifeline just really tied that all together.
Exactly.
So I hope that if you guys are not inspired and motivated after this podcast, I'm just not sure what to say, because it's just been so inspiring to me and motivating. And what is that dream that you've let die? And maybe that you have more to offer. Maybe you would like to connect with David and be a part of his lifeline to health and learn how you can expand your territory in many ways in your good health through good supplements and natural home supplies and cleaning supplies, just all natural products that are fabulous. I use the products, but not only that, but to grow and build a team and give back.
Yeah.
And the sky's the limit. And
Right.
if you do it right, with someone with integrity, you can do amazing things. So, what is the best way for them to reach out to you? Because I know that you have an event on Monday that these guys could attend.
Yeah, so we have an online event over Zoom that they can show up Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. And I say Central Time, which I'm not used to all the time zones, but
Right.
people come from all over, and so we have to make sure we say Central.
Right.
So 7
How can
p.m.
they
Central.
get that Zoom link? How can they
I can
reach
get
out
that to you. Actually, go to lifeline2health.biz, B-I-Z.
Okay, and they can find it there?
They can find the link on there, and they can even find an email to connect with
Oh,
me.
wait, lifeline2health.biz.
Yep.
And that's where they can connect with you and have a conversation with you and learn more about what you're doing.
Well, that they can get my email.
Right.
That's kind of like a page where they can see upcoming events, see what we do, and then reach out to me.
Awesome.
But they'd have to connect with me through email.
Yeah. Great.
So,
all right. Well, and if you really want to connect with them fast, just how to reach out to me. Find me. I'll get you hooked up.
Do it.
So awesome. David, thank you.
You're welcome.
What a great show.
Yeah.
We had great conversation. This was awesome. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.